Hello and welcome to ATech. My name is Akshay. So this is the continuation to the previous part. In that we have learned how we can create the student enrollment Windows application. But in that tutorial, that is in previous part, we have created that application this much. That is, if I run this, so here it is a home window, and in that there is this menu that is student, and in that if I select this add student, so we will be redirected to the student form here, and I can put the information here, and if I save this, so it should save in the database. So this database connection and how we can save this data, we will learn that today in this tutorial. So for that we will use entity framework. Okay, so entity framework provides us the automatic database connection to our database, and it creates all the methods automatically for us, which will fetch the data as well as save the data into the database. Okay, so that we will use today, that is entity framework for this database connection. But before that, let me make some changes here. And also I have told you in this courses, if I click on this arrow, there should be the courses in this combo box, and how we can fill that and how we can give these courses in this combo box, I will show you that. Okay, so let me close this. So here we want to add some items in this drop down. Okay, so for that what I can do, I can right click on this and I can go to this edit items. So in that I can give the name of the courses. Maybe for now I will use some example only. I will not give any exact courses there. If I want to only show you how we can use this combo box to let users select the courses they want to select. You can give any courses you want. I will give some example only here, very simple examples. Let's say physics, chemistry, math. So these are basically subjects, but that is why I'm saying that you can add any courses you want, but I'm just giving you some examples. So physics, chemistry, math, maybe English. So, and I will click OK. And now let me run this again. So now if I go and click on that add student, and if I see this courses drop down menu, now we will get this list here. Okay, so from here we can choose anything, and whatever we choose, and if I click save and also filling all this information, so this information should get saved into the database. And now that we will learn how we can save that. Okay, so using entity framework, now how we can use that, so just right click on this project and go to add and go to new item. So here you will see this ADO.NET entity data model, and if you guys don't see that here, that is this ADO.NET entity data model, so what can be the reason for that? If you are not seeing that here in this list, so just check that, go to this tools and go to this NuGet package manager, and in that manage NuGet package manager packages for solutions. So just go and click on that. So this kind of a window will open, and in that just search. So if I type this entity here, and we should not search that into this installed, but go to this browse tab, and in that browse tab let's just type this entity here, and we will get all the packages here starting with the name entity. Okay, so here if you can see this Microsoft entity.framework, and we don't need this, but if I scroll down here, and okay, yes, so this is this entity framework. And now if you guys see, I will click on this, and if I check these boxes, so you will find there is this install option here. So you have to install this entity framework and just install that and let this installation successful, and packages gets downloaded into your Visual Studio. So I have already downloaded this, and it is already installed on this Visual Studio on my machine. So that is why I don't have to download that again. But I've shown you that if you don't see that in this option, so that is why you have to install that first. Okay, and then only you will find that in this, if you go to this new item, and in that you will find this ADO.NET entity data model. Okay, and now what I will do, I will name that as student model. Okay, and I will add that. Okay, so there are these four options here. That is this database first approach, this is a model first approach, and this is a code first approach. Okay, so now I'm not going to explain you all these things here. That is, what is this data first approach, what is this model first, what is this code first. For this I will be making a new tutorial series, and in that I will explain this entity framework completely there. But here what I will do directly, I will use this database first approach. Okay, here, so I will click that and I will click next here. So you will see one window like this, and in that you have to click on this new connection, and in that, in the server name, if you put dot here, so dot means nothing but a local machine. So on your local machine, whatever database are available, that will be shown here. That is, select or enter a database name. So it is loading there. So I have this database already created. So I have this much database already created here. But what I will do, I will create one fresh database and I will show you how we can create that. Okay, so for that I will be using SQL Server Database Management System. Okay, so this is nothing but IDE. I will fire up that and I will run that as administrator. So now if you guys don't have this Microsoft SQL Server Database Management Studio, that is this IDE, if you don't have this, so what you can do, you can go directly on, so you can download it from any browser. That is, go to any browser and just type SQL Server Management Studio download, and you can download that. And also one thing that you should keep in mind, that this is a IDE, that is SQL Server Management Studio, and this is not an actual database. It only helps to connect to our database. So there is also already a SQL database or maybe Oracle database installed on our computer. So that is also already installed on my computer. That is, I have already a SQL database installed on my computer. So also what you have to do, you have to first install a SQL database on your computer. That also you can download from any browser. Go to any browser, just type download SQL and you can download that. You have to install that first, and after that you have to download this SQL Server Management Studio. So this is the IDE and that is the database. So this IDE, that is this integrated development environment we use, that is this integrated development environment we use to connect to that database, and which should be already installed on our computer. So if it is not there, so if I put this server name as dot here, and if I try to connect, if that SQL is not already installed on my system, so this will give error. But if it is installed and if I connect, so it will find, that is dot means local machine. So on the local machine it will find if there is a SQL database. So if it is there, so it will connect to that database. So this IDE is used to connect that database, and this IDE is not the actual database. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. Okay, so I will go to this databases here, and now I have all these databases here, and I will create one new database here. So I will right click on that. I will go to this new database. So what I will type here, I will type student DB. Okay, that is basically a name of a database. I will click OK here. And now I will right click on the student DB. I will go to this new query and I will create one table here. Okay, so now we can create this table using this query as well. Okay, or otherwise if you don't aware about queries, so you can directly create that without query as well. Okay, so if you go to this plus sign here, that is in this database, and in this table, if you right click on that, and if you say new table, something like this, so you can add that from here as well. Okay, so if I want to add some column, let's say student ID, and data type we have to choose from here, something like this. So this will be integer, so I will use int here, that is this. And if you don't want to allow nulls in your in your student ID, that is you compulsorily want to store a data that is value into this table, so you have to uncheck this. And I am not going to create a table this way. I have just shown you, if you don't aware about SQL queries, but I will create directly that with using this query. So create table student, and I have to give this parenthesis, and first there should be a name of column, student ID maybe, and after that the what kind of what will be the data type for this column. So I want to only store numbers here, so that is why I have taken this int here. And after that, let's say student name, and I want to store varchar here, that is mix of variable characters here. Okay, and I have to give that comma there as well, and let me specify a width here. So this is nothing but a size. Up to this size we can store a name into that column. Okay, so this is enough. So this is enough size. Okay, that is 50. And another column I want is student age maybe, and let me take integer as a data type. After that I want student DOB here, and for that I will use this data type here. And after that, let's say student gender here, and for that also I will use varchar, and I will show you why I am using varchar. Okay, because anyway we will going to store that. Anyway we have taken the radio buttons, but we will going to show this name only here, that is if he or she is male or female. Okay, and also what kind of a course he or she has selected, student course, that also varchar. And I will take this gender from here, and I will put that after this name here. Okay, so now I will select this and I will execute this query. So our database is created. Okay, and let's see that if it is created. So how we can see that? Select star from table name, that is student, and we will execute that. So our table is created here. So first column is student ID, student name, student gender, age, DOB, and course. Now our database is created, and here from the entity framework we will use, and here in the Visual Studio we will use this entity framework to connect to that database. Okay, so how we can do that? I have already shown you. If I put that dot here, it will show all the databases available in the machine. So the database we have just created is this, that is this. We can see that in IntelliSense. Okay, so student DB, I will click. So I will test connection here first. It is a good practice to test this connection. So connection is succeeded. Okay, and I will click OK here, and let me make changes to this name. Okay, so it is reflected already. So student DB entities. So this name is entity framework automatically used in the app config to store our connection string. So, okay, so let me show you that. If I click next and next, it is retrieving database information. So we have to wait for that. Okay, so we have just connected to the database, but from here which table we want from that database, we have to select that from here. Okay, so if I click on that arrow here and again here, so there is, for now only there is one table, and I want to select that, and I will finish. I will click on this finish. Okay, so for some reason it has not generated the model here, and yes, I have made one mistake here. We have not created any primary key here. Okay, so first of all what I will do, I will drop this table from here, I will drop this table student, execute that query, and again we will create it. And I will make that as primary key as well as a identity column. And why we use this identity column? Because after using this identity, we don't have to specify a value for this ID. It will automatically generate that for us. Okay, so having done this change, I will again execute this query. Okay, so student table has created. I will see that if it is created. Okay, so it has created already. And now what I will do, I will just delete this from here, that is whatever this EDMX file is generated, and I will explain you everything in a bit. That is everything again I will explain you, so don't worry about that. I will just quickly add that ADO.NET entity data model, that is to the new item ADO.NET entity data model. I will name that as student model, and I will add that database first approach and go to new connection. I will put dot here, and as soon as I do that, all the database will get loaded here. So I want the student DB here. I will click OK, and I will click next. It will retrieve that information from the database. So here I will select this table. So anyway we want that student table, and it is only having that student table for now, and I will click finish here, and this time it should create that model for us, that is entity framework will create model for us. And as soon as it finished processing, that is entity framework finished its processing, you will see that model gets created. You will see that model gets created here, and you will notice in the references it has added that entity framework's reference here, as well as it has created this model for us. That is this is nothing but a table. This is nothing but a model which is mapped to the database table. Whatever database table we have in this SQL Server Management Studio, this model is mapped to that database table, and it has automatically created by the entity framework for us. Okay, and also in the student model.edmx file, if you see, the student.cs is also gets created automatically, and in that these are nothing but the properties which are mapped to the columns of our table. If you remember, we have created the student table there. So this class is nothing but we can consider this as a student table, and these properties are nothing but we can consider a columns of this table. So these are mapped to that database table. Okay, and again what entity framework has done for us, that is if you go to this student model.context.cs, so in this you will find it has created this class student DB entities 1, and it has make this class inherit from this DB context. So this DB context class is nothing but responsible for making that database connection with our SQL Server database. Okay, and in that it has created this collection here, that is collection of students. So whatever list of student we will be having in our database, we will get that from this students collection here. Okay, so by using this database name, and inside that database name there is this collection. So this database name is nothing but a class. Okay, so by using this class, inside that class there is this collection, and we will get the number of list of student we have in our database. And again one thing, if you guys don't aware about collections, so, and I will not going to explain you that in a very great knowledge, that is collection. So for that you can just follow my collection tutorial in the C# tutorial for beginners series, and link for that you will find in the description below. But coming back to this concept now, okay, so we have generated this database connection here. Now we have to use this database to store that information of a student and to fetch that information back from that database, and we will show that onto this one of the form. And before that, let's just try to store one student into the database. And for that, now what we will do, we know we have this student form here, that is this is the designer file. I will close this everything except this. close all but this. Okay, so now we know we have this form, and whatever information the user will store here, and after that if he or she clicks this save button, so that information should get saved into the database. So for that I will double click on this save button, and there is also another event should generated here, that is button click event. So now what I will do, so I will give that button a meaningful name so that we will understand what this button is doing. I will get rid of this code, and here first of all what I will do, I will give, okay, so I have to change that from designer CS as well, because that's get defined into this designer file, and we have removed that button from there, that is that event from there. So that event got defined here, so that is why it is showing error. Now it should fix this issue. Okay, so I will change the button, I will change the name of this button from here, and I will name that as button save. Okay, so that we will understand it should be more meaningful. Okay, and now if I double click on this button, so that event will be generated here, that is this button save click event. So in that what we will do, we can find all this thing from here, and that is why I have told you, if you recollect from the previous tutorial, that is the previous part of this Windows application. So I have told you we should give this text boxes, this combo box, these labels a meaningful name, because because if we want to use them in the future, so that is why. So now it is very useful, because we have named that, because we have given them a very meaningful name. So in this text box first name, we know we will get that text box first name, and in that there is this property dot text, from that we will get that text, and where we will store this, we will store this into an object, and that object we will pass into this student entity, that is this student DB entities database. Okay, and how we will do that? First of all, let me create an object of that student class here. Okay, student is equals to new student, and in that student we know we have that property student name. So in that from where the student name is coming, from that text box first name, and in that there is this property text we have to use, and again in student dot student gender, and from where this gender is coming, from that radio button. Okay, but how we will find that if it is a female or male which has been clicked, which has been selected by user? So for that what we have to do, we will have one variable here first, and we will check if is male checked. Okay, is male checked, and how we will find that? From radio button, that is not a radio button male dot, and there is a property, that is checked. If it is checked, then it will return true, and if it is so, because if we know that the male radio button is already checked, and if it is so, if male button is checked, that is male radio button is checked, we will check that in the condition, that is male checked, and if it is true, then that student gender, we will initialize that to this radio button male dot text. Okay, and if not, then obviously it should be radio female button only. Okay, so we will initialize that to radio female button, so it should be female. Okay, now we want a date of birth of student, so student dob is equals to date time picker. We know that we have used that date time picker dob, so in that dot value we will have that value from there, and we are storing that to student dob. Okay, and there is this student dot student age. Okay, so we haven't make user enter that age, and in this form we haven't used that, so we will use that, and not a big issue. We will have one label here as well as one text box. Okay, so text box and a label, and we will make this user add here only beside this date of birth in here, and let me change that font for both this label and text box. I will click OK, and for this text box as well I will change the font, that is 12, Arial and black. Alright, I will change the name of this label, that is text as well as name. I will change the text to age and name to LBL age. Okay, and similarly for this text box I will change the name of the text box, that is txt box age. Okay, and now we will find that here. Okay, so now we have that text box age here. Okay, and in that we want a text. Okay, and we know this is integer, that is this is not integer, but we have defined this property as integer, so we have to convert that to integer. Okay, so convert dot to int like this. Alright, and again there is student dot, that is student dot course here, and we know we have provided the combo box there, so combo box courses, and in that whatever user has selected, there is this property, that is selected item, we will get that from there, and in that we want it to, that is to a string. Okay, so that is we want the text for that whatever it has selected, because we know it is a, because we know this is a string property, so that is why. And now we have almost initialized every property, but one thing I have to make change here. Okay, so we know we have used three text boxes, that is first name, middle name and last name. Okay, so that is why we have to take everything and we have to concatenate that. Okay, something like this, that is txt box middle name plus txt box last name. Okay, now it is alright. Now what I want to do lastly, we have to use that studentdb entities class here, that is we have to create object of that studentdb entities1, and I will create object of that db is equals to new studentdb entities, and in that db we have to pass the student. In that there is this, so we know, okay, so I have already told you this is a database, and in that database there is this collection of students, and in that we can add that student object like this. So I have added that, and we also have to make save changes, that is If we don't do that, so it will not reflect in our database. Okay, so we have to make changes of that. So we have to make this save changes also, and now it is good. And let's try to save this to our database, and let's see if it gets saved to the database. Okay. Okay, so here it is a menu student. In that add student, I will add all the information here. Okay, so we can change these indexes as well. Okay, so right now if you see, if I click tab here, so it is going anywhere. So that is why we have to change that index number here. And how we can do that? If I go to the student form here and right click on this property, so there should be the tab index here, and we will find that somewhere here only. That is, it should be somewhere here. Okay, so the tab index of this is 23. Let me make that as 1, and similarly for this middle name it should be 2. For this last name it should be 3. For this date of birth it should be 4. For this age it should be 5. For this radio buttons it should be 6 and 7 respectively. And for this email ID it should be 8. And from that I have remember we have not initialized this email ID. Okay, so we will initialize that as well, and 9, and this save button as 10. Okay, and we will initialize this email ID here as well. We forget to do that. Okay, so here student dot okay, so means we have not taken that in our database. So for that we don't have to delete all the database from here. We can just update this database. And how we can do that? Let me show you. Let me just first add one property here, student email ID. Okay, student email ID, and that will be varchar only. And let me just drop this table from here. Let me execute that query, and I will again create and execute this query. Now we should have that column, that is student email ID. Okay, and now what I will do from here, that is in student model EDMX file, we will just right click on this model. That is, we can right click anywhere here. We can right click on we can right click here and update model from database. We have to click, and in here go to this refresh tab, and in table there should be this student table, and just click finish, and it will refresh that model here. Okay, so it has added the student email ID, it has added here. Okay, so now we will find that student, and yes, as soon as we have added that, because we want that in our class as well, that is the student class. So what we have to do, we have to build this project again. Okay, so Ctrl+Shift+B, we have to build that, and we will get that in our class as well, that is the student class as well. That is in this class, the student.cs. Yes, we have to first make this correction here, otherwise it will not get built. And now if I and now if I press Ctrl Shift B, it should build this project, and we will get that property here now, dot student email ID. Okay, so now we are getting that. Why? Because if you go to definition, or let's say go to this student.cs, you will find that ID here, that is email ID. So here it should have get added by building this project. Okay, so email ID. Now we have find that, and we know that is in this text box email ID. Alright, and we have already added this object to this collection in the database, and now we will see, and now we will run this project again, and let's see if it gets added into that database, that is that student information is get added into the database. And if I go to the student, add student, so Akshay, and now this time if I use that tab, so it will redirect that directly to correct text boxes. Okay, because we have changed that tab index. Okay, so that is why I will just select the year here, and I will enter my age, and I will select this mail here. I will add email ID akborje.41@gmail.com, and I will select a course from here, let's say English, and I will save this, and let's say if it's get added. Okay, so we will not come to know if it's get added because I have not shown any message there, so that is why we will not come to know that, and that is why I will use that try and catch block as well, so that we will understand if we are getting any exception, that is a correct message we will get. Okay, so I will put all this code inside a try block, and I will catch the exceptions here. Okay, so if there are any exceptions, now again guys, if you don't aware about catch and try block, that is this exception handling, that also I have explained in my C# tutorial for beginners series. Okay, and link for that also you will find in the description below, that is exception handling in C#, so you can check that out. Okay, so ex dot message that we want to show onto the console, and instead of console, because it is not a window, it is not a console application, so what I will do, there is this message box, and in that message box I want to show that message. Okay, that is this exception message. If we get any exception, we will show that onto this message box, that should be big S. Okay, and yes, I will show one message here as well. If it is successful, if that student gets added into that database, then we know we will get this message here, that is student added successfully. But this time, but I don't think so that it will get added, because we have already got with exception. But let's see in a meaningful message what is that exception is. Okay, so student, add student, so first name Akshay, a dot borje, and I will change that quickly here, age 26, gender, and akborje.4@gmail.com, and courses will be English, and I will save that. Okay, so it is saying validation failed for one or more entities. So for that, what I will do now, I will run this in a debugging mode and let's see what is the problem. So I will put a debugger here and I will run this in a debugging mode. Go to that add student. I will provide every information here. Should be dot and Bourget 1994. I will provide here as well a value. Mail, I will select akbourget.4@gmail.com, and from courses I will select English and I will save this. So here it is. So we have put the debugger here. So we came here. So let's see what happened here. Now I will debug and step over this as well. So let's see if we got the name. Okay, so that is the problem. We haven't used the text property here. Okay, that is for this text box dot middle name and as well as this last name. Okay, all right, but still we will run in the debug mode only so that we will not encounter any other problem. We will see that student add student. If we get any other problem, we will see that in a debug mode only. So that is why Akshay Bourget, I will select that here 26 mail kbourget.4@gmail.com, and I will select a course from here, that is English. I will save this and now let's see. I will step over this again. We should get that student name. Okay, so we are getting that student name. I will directly jump here. I will continue this and let's see if we got that gender as well. Okay, so we got the male gender. Okay, so I have checked that male gender. Now we will directly come to this dbstudent.add and let's see if we got all the information in this object. Okay, so age, course, this is the database, this is the date of birth, email ID, student gender, student ID it has by default taken 0 and student name Akshay Bourget. So let's continue this and let's see if it's get added. Okay, so student added successfully and let's check our database now. So select star from student. Let me execute that query. So the students gets added into this database with student ID 1, student name, male, age, date of birth, course and email ID. Okay, so that's how we use this database connection. So that's how we use entity framework to make the database connection with SQL Server database management system. Okay. Now in the next part what we will learn, how we can fetch this data from the database, and if I click on the students we should get redirected to one form in which we should see the list of students we have in our database, as well as we will learn in the next part how we can make only a specific user log into this application and only can authorized user can handle this application. Only authorized user should have the authority to see the students, to add the student into the database. So for that we will create one login form that we will see in the next part, as well as how we can fetch that database record from the database, as well as how we can fetch the student record from the database and show this onto the one form. That also we will see in the next part. Okay, so till then subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon and like, comment, share these videos, and we will meet in the next part. Until then, stay tuned and thank you.